Hello everyone, I'm really excited for today. I'm gonna be your captain and I will lead you through everything I've done in the month of April, and I'll start by just showing you everything I've done in this month. I'm really glad to be back and make some new videos for you guys. So with that said, let's get on with it. Over here you can see a total of everything I've done in the month of April. You can see my game, analysis, puzzles, puzzle rush and opening. I've played 9 games in week 3, and that's because I played an online event with like a pretty long time control. You can see over here it was 60 plus 5, and recently I've begun a new tournament which is spread over a pretty long period. You can see I've played 1 game in the month of April. In May now I played a second game, but basically the time control is like a classical game. It's 90 plus 30. I'm really excited for this because this is like the best training I can possibly do for the upcoming real physical tournaments. I'm playing some really long games which are way more interesting to analyze because I need to think longer about the positions, and I can really try and work on my chess in a more practical way. Let's now have a look at the puzzles I did. The first 2 weeks, as you can see, I solved almost every single day. 41 is very good because there were only 4 days. Week 2 I almost did puzzles every single day, but then you can see week 3, 4, 5 I pretty much went downhill, I'd say. This is just pretty bad, and even though like my total score is probably fine, especially if you look at March, I did 163 puzzles on chess.com. I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but it's kind of sad that like the last part of the month I kind of messed up my habit of solving puzzles, and I will also go deeper into this a little bit later in the video. Puzzle Rush I would like to not look at too much. I have a score of 62. No, I think last month I did a little bit more. Yeah, this I don't consider really like training, even though you might consider it like training, because when I do such a puzzle rush I always look at the solution, which means every time I solve I also learn something. But I mean, I consider it more as a fun activity rather than like serious chess training. Then we have opening, and this is probably the biggest difference. If you look at like March, I didn't do anything. Actually, in the month of April, I did some serious, or like at least more serious opening training. I worked a little bit in this book, Keep It Simple by Christoph Soyeki. I have this book for a while now, and I have worked in this book in the past. I pretty much read it all, but I only use like the chapters I need for my repertoire, and I will definitely skip certain chapters that I either don't need or I'm not interested in, or I just have another repertoire for. It's actually just a very nice solid but actually very good repertoire, which is like very easy. I'll probably also just leave a link down below if you would be interested. As you can see, I managed to do 2. Yeah, 2 basically means that I have a study session. 1 study session I think is like maybe almost an hour. In total I had 8 study sessions, which means I worked in this book for like maybe 6 hours. That would be my guess, I'm not sure. I will show you everything week per week what I actually did. You can see actually week 1 it was very good. The puzzles were going nice. I was watching my coach was playing a tournament in Spain, I think. No, it was in Italy. I'm actually not sure. Okay, anyway, again, my puzzles were very nice. I played some puzzle rush. Apparently I had a lesson from my coach because he was back from his tournament he played. Then I had a stream in my native language, which was like alternative chess activity, I guess. I don't know why I've written it down, but week 3, and you can see this, I managed to do some puzzles while at the same time, and this is actually very nice, playing an Easter tournament 60 plus 5. I played 3 games on Monday, 3 games on Tuesday, and 3 games on Wednesday, which makes 9 games in 3 days, which is actually a lot. And what I think what happened was that I kind of had a burnout from chess because I played too much chess. Like 3 games of 60 plus 5 a day is really a lot. It's quite tough, especially if I need to combine this with puzzles. Like the 3rd day, I just gave up on my puzzles. I was like, okay, I'll do 5, but that's it. I was like done with it, which I think is very understandable still. But then the problem is this bad habit actually actually sticked to me in week 4. And also like week 5 was terrible. But I think I can't blame like this tournament. Like I can only blame myself for being not dedicated enough, I guess, to these puzzles, or not disciplined enough as a person. But okay, I can definitely change that. And that's also why my goal today, and I will say this like now, so you guys can check on me, my goal will be to hit 3000, which is gonna be pretty much impossible because later on I will show you my puzzle stats and everything. But okay, that's the goal, and for that I will need to solve a lot of puzzles to eventually get there, if I already am able to get there, someday. Okay. So I also worked a little bit on my opening. I didn't do much puzzles, I did a lot of opening. But then also I watched the candidates, I made videos about that. I had a lesson with my coach, and that was pretty much it. I watched the candidates. I did some puzzles here because I was like, okay, it's the end of the month. Let's just end with some puzzles so that it doesn't look like I didn't do anything. Also, I think a reason why I wasn't able to stick to my puzzles, I think, is because I hit 2800 and the puzzle just became so challenging for me that it was so hard to just get started. I would use like a lot of energy and it would be tough. And I think that's also just something that made me quit this puzzle streak, if you can even call it a streak, because I just didn't do anything for like 3 weeks or something. And what I always do, if you haven't seen an earlier video of mine, I go to my stats and I go to my puzzles, and I have unlimited puzzles since I have a subscription on this, as you can see over here. But I'll put it on, let's say, on 60 days, and you can see this. Yeah, this is the end of March. Yeah, this is like, the end of March I had 2600. And I was able in the very beginning to hit 2800 actually very, very soon. Then I think I hit a plateau. It was so challenging. I needed to think so long about the puzzles, and it was tough for me to just get started. That was the feeling I had. And I kind of hit a plateau, but also not, because I just didn't really solve a lot of puzzles, yeah. But anyway, let's just have a look at my time I used. The puzzles I did solve were actually very effective, at least I believe, because I used so much time to solve these that actually I think it was very good training. This was yesterday, I solved one puzzle apparently, and this was like whole April. I used like 11, 17, 15, 1, 5, 14, 15, 8, 4, 9, 2, 8, 2, 2. We can go further. 7, 6, 4, 5, 31, 5, 3, 3, 15, 3. So I think I have an average of, I don't know if I would have to guess, like 8 minutes. So I think my average thinking time has also increased, simply because the puzzles have become way, way, way more difficult. But I don't think that's a problem that they are so difficult. Actually, I need to be disciplined enough to just make use of the fact that these puzzles are now, for my level, like perfect. This is like the sweet spot where the puzzles are very challenging. There is a possibility that I solve them. I know I can solve them if I just think long enough about it. If I'm just concentrated enough, I'm really trying to solve it, I know I can solve them. And I can really try and work on my calculation on this 2800 level, but I just need to be disciplined enough to do it. At least that's what I believe, and I think that's true. So yeah, I think this is something that I don't know if other people would be suffering from this, but at least it's for me, is that when it gets like too difficult, I'm more likely to quit, which is actually a shame. But okay. Now let's have a look at my leeches. So let's do leeches, and I'll just look at everything I've done. So let's start with my bullet. But okay, I don't think this is really worth looking at. This is like a normal bullet graph, I think. You go up and down and up and down. Now if you look at my blitz, and this is actually getting interesting now, I actually played over 300 games in this period. So let's have a look actually again at my Word document. This is what I want to show you guys. This is February, March and April. If you look at February, this is the end of February. I had 1484. March, 1513. I played like 29. And then here, if you can see the difference, I played over 300 games. So let's have a look at my blitz. The really good thing is that I've been able to play a lot of blitz. So if you look at my games. What I do, I play games either 3+2 or 5+3, because what I do, and I think this is something that is good for anyone who is interested in trying to work on their opening in a practical way, I do a really quick analysis for like 30 seconds or like a minute and just have a quick check of my opening play. So you can also see, if you look at my plays, I play 5+3, 5+3, 5+3, 5+3, 5+3. You know, this is all 5+3, 3+2, 3+2, 5+3, 3+2. But okay, yeah, you get the idea. I play a lot of games with increment because what I believe is if you have increment, the quality of the game will increase. You're less likely to either be flagged or flag your opponent. Usually, if you have a better position, you will also win the game. Because this is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they study some random opening theory, which is either not adapted to their level or, you know, they will just not get it in a real game or in an online game. This is actually a very practical way of doing it. Just have a quick analysis after your blitz game, and this is kind of a way of combining both the enjoying part and the more serious training part. Let's have a look at my rapid. I think my rapid, was kind of the same because I played only classical. I played 10 classical games and it decreased actually by a lot. I think the only reason for that is that all the people I played in the tournament were either underrated, because as you know I had a score 7 out of 10 in total, right? So I actually played like a good tournament. I have a pretty good score, but all my opponents were either like underrated or they had like a new account, which means they start on 1500, but they are actually stronger than that. Now, the final question. Let's get back to this. Did I improve? I think frankly that I have improved my calculation, visualization and all of that, because as I said, I've played a pretty serious long time control tournament, and I have to say I felt stronger when it came to calculation. I think even in the last game I really was able to kind of outcalculate my opponent, even though I think it goes a little bit too far to say that I have been able to improve. I think I've made some really small steps to improvement. I just put it that way. It's not like I've been able to have a huge improvement here by any means, but I think it's going kind of in the right direction, but only if I am able to now pick up this habit again of solving puzzles, training hard on my chess. I hope really that you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to ask me down below in the comments. And with that said, as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.